Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Are we live? Oh, we're live again.
Yeah,
We're live.
You guys
We're
all
live.
follow. Oh,
Live
I
from
need
New
to
York.
see. Let's go here and stream.
Painting the roses red.
What the hell is that?
One of those little like terrain sheets that I get at the dollar store. I'm just
Oh yeah.
painting
Those
some
are
red
nice.
on it, so it's not all like purple.
Yeah, that's a lot of purple.
Yeah.
That looked good in a space scene though. That the fucking purple flowers like that.
Yeah, I have a bunch of these, so I'm just like some variation on this one.
Yeah, I have some flat green ones, but I don't have any with the buds on them.
Yeah, these
What's
popped
up,
up
Kenzo?
over Easter. So
Kenzo.
Yes, I wish like I know, and Bobby even said he stole the bullets ejecting out of the minigun.
Yeah,
I think it would have been awesome if Mexico would have done something for that with bullets ejecting out of it.
Yeah.
Because
that looks all right with Roadblock holding it underneath.
Yeah, that's the first time I did it. I was just thinking about it because
Yeah,
I
let's
like
see
the saw.
turn it around. Turn the figure around. Yeah, so I can see no that way. Yeah, that looks all right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that works.
But I want a minigun that's like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's not the minigun. That's right. That's the 50.
And Mezco does. I mean, as great as they are, they do have limited articulation. Like for firing positions, like to get them in a nice shooting position, because they don't have any butterfly joint. So it does take a little bit away. But the only thing that I don't like about this is that this is the backpack that holds that this is supposed to go into.
Yeah.
But if I have this gear on, or even this web gearing, you can't really use it. But I like this this plate carrier.
Yeah.
So, oh well, they're action figures. If you can't figure out where the bullets are going, I don't care. They used to fire laser guns in the cartoon. And people seem to love that.
Right.
But I can't
have it be like Stallone and wrap the M60 bullets around his wrist with the other hand and fire the gun one-handed.
Well, again, like this was something. So, did you get the Valiverse pack?
Yeah,
it came with the minigun. So it came with this, but they didn't give you a backpack to plug it into or any type of ammo carrier.
Yeah.
Which I remember Bobby was hitting me up, Bobby B, and was like, I don't know, like, where's this supposed to go? Now I use it on my bat, so I just plugged it into the bat backpack, and it actually works pretty well. But it sucks because I don't really want it hanging there.
But his came with a canister too, didn't it? Didn't Val's come with a canister?
So you could use the barrel canister or use the bullet.
Right. Yeah.
And I do like that minigun. It doesn't. I like that it's smaller, and you compare it to the one that that Hasbro did, and it's just it's night and day. But that Hasbro one is also supposed to go on the RAM. So giving it with Roadblock was kind of stupid, but Roadblock's so big it doesn't really matter. And again, it's a toy. But I just
that Roadblock figure is so big. I mean,
Roadblock and Gung-Ho are both the same height.
Yeah.
So they are bigger than. Those are the two biggest figures, other than Serpentor.
It's like I'm sure you watched Robo's show this morning, right? Or yesterday morning, really?
I started to. I didn't finish it.
But like he was talking about, because he showed that picture of the Tiger Force Roadblock with Zap, right? Yeah. He was talking about he didn't realize how big Roadblock was until you see those two figures sitting like that side by side. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, like again, that's one of my issues with the Valiverse, and I know he had a problem with me saying it because he commented on my Instagram about it. But all his figures are the exact same height. That's not how the real world is.
Right.
I like the fact that they're different heights and classified because you have more bucks that they're using. They didn't make all their bucks the same.
Yeah.
And again, you're fudging figures in. With that said, you are right at the tip of the scale of what you can do with Roadblock and Gung Ho. Like they have to be kind of forced back if you're doing shots and stuff.
Yeah. And like they did have some like Flint and Duke and all those guys are the same size buck. Bazooka and Bazooka's a little bigger, right? And
yes, he uses different legs or the same legs, and he has a different torso, but I think he uses the same leg.
Yeah.
So he's actually a little bit shorter than them.
So they got some nice height variations, right?
Yeah. And then Serpentor is just like he fits in with Super 7. He's that big. And I guess I'm okay with it because he was created, but he's still he's maybe a little too big.
Be a god, so I get it, right? But
and that's what Nemesis Enforcer was supposed to be bigger than him. So I don't know if they're gonna make Nemesis Enforcer bigger. Road Pig, I think, is gonna be on the same scale as him. I think it sounds like when they make him, he'll be a little bit bigger than.
I could see Road Pig being like on the Gung Ho buck, but I don't know about any bigger than that.
But they made it sound like he's even going to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I know.
Which I don't really. I agree. Like I think again, if you make bigger arms, but I don't think they need to be taller because then you're just not fitting in.
Yeah, like I liked Road Pig back when he was created, but to me, he should be like a normal size figure, but just big, right? Just bulky.
Yeah, he's tall. He's tall, but not gigantic.
Yeah.
And Nemesis, like I said, I hate Cobra Law. I'll pick him up. Like any classified figure, they've almost all been knockouts. So even figures I didn't like, they still looked awesome. Like I never gave two shits about Barbecue, but that is an awesome figure. Like it is. You
have both versions?
Yes, I do. Because I have issues. I have every figure. I have every figure, but the repaints that they did, because I don't consider them different because they didn't change the number. They didn't change anything other than just a little bit of repaint. So the only repaint that I do have is Roadblock because he was like $8 at Burlington Coat Factory. So I'll buy another one. And now I'm going to get another one. And they have the Mezco one, which is smaller than a lot of other figures. So,
yeah, Mezcos are definitely smaller figures. They're more like a true 1/12 scale.
But they're so nice, man. They're so.
I love my Mezcos, dude. Love them. I got a couple of the knockoff ones too from 5K Toys that are basically a Mezco body underneath their types of figures. Yeah.
So this is how we get the Motu guys not to talk G.I. Joe. They're like, I don't even know what is a Gung Ho.
I'll tell you, Roadblock is my favorite Joe because I like to call people Roadblock when they're in my way.
You guys didn't play with G.I. Joe at all? Like,
no, my cousins had like an epic Joe collection, and I would play with it at their house, but I didn't have much growing up.
Yep, my cousin had freaking so many Joes. The I have some of the 12-inch ones, but the only one that I really had, the smaller ones, was the dude that came with the Warthog.
That would have been after. Was that Slaughter? Did Slaughter come with that? No, that was See, that was after my time.
But Cobb, you probably had the 12-inch Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, it was
the Real American Hero guys that were 12-inch.
The Cobra Commander, Duke, Stalker,
the Hall of Fame guys.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame.
My cousins had like a ton of it, and they were cool. Like I liked all the vehicles and the characters were fun. I watched the cartoon, but it's just not something that like I'm more fantasy. Like fantasy is really where my jam's at. Sci-fi a little bit, but
that's where your jam is at.
Yep, that's where my jam's at.
I'm seeing a picture of Thanos on my random shelf up here. There's just random fantasy things. All these things have been picked up on the side. A nice, cool little looking collection up here.
Yeah, I started a shelf over here. It's got like all my orcs and stuff on it.
Those orcs, I'm tempted, especially that last one that you guys were showing earlier. That one's badass.
Those orcs are so fucking cool looking. Jesus.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, like you don't see any G.I. Joe figures or any type of like military figure that you just think looks really cool and you're like, I just want to have that one. Like, do you guys get that urge? Like, I get that urge with a lot of stuff that I'm like.
I think Classified looks like a great line. But I don't do like military, so they don't really fit in with anything.
But you don't see like one figure that like I just want to have that figure, like no urge or anything.
I have a Classified Cobra Commander. I have the Super 7 Cobra Commander. I have a 3 3/4 Cobra Commander. So I like Cobra Commander.
Okay.
And then I have
do you have
the
a
guy
hooded
with
version?
the alligator. Was it Crockmaster?
Crackmaster. Yeah.
Because he was at Ross and I wanted the alligator. So
yeah,
I know Ross
Fiona is a fucking gorgeous alligator though. They knocked it out of the park with that thing.
yeah, she's good too. Like she moves like really well.
Yeah.
Like it's cool.
All the Rosses around here have the twins going on right now. I'm like, they're $5 each. I was like, do I need the twins for anything?
Hasbro does better with their fucking animals than they do with their actual figures.
I think the figures are nice. Like I actually see the Joe stuff and I'm kind of jealous. Like I think they do a better job on those than a lot of the Master stuff, like the Masterverse stuff they put out.
So I think the Masterverse are done really well. Every one that I have, I think it's really nice. You know, if they're on a bigger buck and they're cheaper, and it says, "Hey, McFarlane, you still can do nice stuff at that price."
Yeah, but at Joe's you get like nice head sculpts. You have butterfly joints. Like I think they're better figures. Like in general, they're just
exactly. I look at those classified and everything. I'm like, they're nice figures. I'm like, I wish same thing like Dan was to say. And I was like, yeah, I wish you could get something like that kind of.
I was just wondering, like, if like you saw anything that you're just like, I need to have that, or I just like, because I see so. I mean, obviously I do like some fantasy because I collected, almost all of the Origins line. And like, but to me, I see something, and especially if something hasn't dropped in a while, and you just need to spend money, you have to have something new in your hand, and it's so scary because you hit that wrong line, and you're like, "Fuck."
When Serpentor came out, I thought about picking him up, but like if I'd seen him in the store, I would have picked him up. The fact that he was like an online thing, it's like, I can pass. But if I was from the store, I would.
That's exactly what me too. That Serpentor, I was like, you know what, I'd get him maybe.
Yeah, I thought about it.
I never liked Serpentor. That figure is a really nice figure.
Yeah.
So, Lawrence, when the Monster Force comes out, are you going to start reviewing them on your channel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm already. Like I said, I moved away from being all in on Valiverse. I have less and less want for any of those figures. Again, they've just been the same buck for so long, and they've become tiresome. They really have. It was my own doing. That blowback with Ghillie suit was just so awful. It was way overpriced, and I know what people are going to say. It has a soft goods, but it's the same buck, and that's the reason why you can bring down the price. They gave you, an extra head, and I understand there's other tooling to it, but I look at that Swarm Tracer, the glow in the dark. That thing's wonderful. I really, but I like the Swarm because I use them with, my Serpentors. Now did you get the
PowerCon one?
Yes.
When you were there? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you remember? No, I was the only one that didn't buy two.
Yes, that's right.
But they accidentally overcharged me because they weren't even paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was the only person.
Those did look cool, the Swarms. I remember seeing those and being like, that's a pretty cool looking figure.
The helmet being clear and showing the brain or whatever the hell's underneath it is a pretty cool thing they have. But
you mean the ball joint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. The Scarab's the worst because it's one big solid head, so you can see right through it.
Yeah.
And if the light hits it the right way, and once it's pointed out to you, you can't unsee it. The Horde has smaller eyes, so it's harder to see, and same with the Swarm figure. But once you see through it, the Scarab was awful because it was the whole head, and you're like, I can't not see that fucking ball joint in the middle there.
Yeah, I know. Even Fisher Price back in the 70s made sure there was a brain in their dome, that they were just putting a clear, no body in there or no head.
Yeah. But I like the figures, and all those figures have always felt smoother to begin with.
Well, that's what I said. That like I was talking to Ken last week about that, right? It's like the actual figures themselves are, you know, like I can pose my Valaverse figures and they stay right where I want them to, and you know,
yes,
the joints are smooth, no gummy joints, nothing. But you know,
and I still have a problem, like I mentioned before, like when it comes to people still complaining about Series 1, like first off, Series 1 wasn't even bad. It needed to be warmed up. Big fucking deal.
yeah.
The problem was that he went on this tirade about how, you know, you shouldn't have to warm your figures up even if you're a brand new company. And then all of his had to be done. But
yeah.
It's not a big deal. When someone says, well, we didn't have to do that in the 80s, the plastic was different. Go look at an O-ring and tell me that plastic's the same. No, because thumbs and crotches are snapping like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know how you complain about it. Now, you can tell the difference. You can definitely tell the difference from the plastics that he's using. And even now, they're way different.
Yeah.
For that blowback there, the hands are super soft. Like, you can open up the hand real easy. You don't have to pry it like you used to have to, which I like a lot more.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I mean, it was not worth $55. That ghillie suit, I mean, and people are trying to say I was pulling it off. I'm like, yeah, you saw me like grabbing it, but I'm not pulling it off. Well, I don't make that much money. I don't make that much money off reviews. I am not pulling shit off. I'm not spending $55 to tear apart a company. I don't give a shit that much. I bought it because I was hoping that it would be better. And even someone pointed out in my the weapons pack with the Orbit green. Orbit is gum if you don't know.
Yeah,
it looks just like the Orbit gum that I chew like crazy. But even someone made a comment and said, yeah, when you first started, you were really ragging on it. As you went on, you were saying like, hey, I kind of like this. Some of the weapons look really good. My issue is that they're not snow weapons. But when I put it on the Arctic Bat, I'm like, oof, that gun looks, that saw looks awesome on it. And it does kind of reflect off of his the shield that he's using. Now, I don't know why a robot needs a shield to have that clear glass that you can see through.
Yeah.
He's a robot, you know. So
I really liked the original blowback figure from the SDS series.
Figure.
I'd love to get the sniper one, but I don't like the way the face is camoed, and that's just a preference because that's not how you camo a face, no matter what. And then I'm not a fan of the ghillie suit. Like I'd love the sniper rifle, that's the shotgun sniper rifle, and then the camouflage body, but you know,
I've struggled getting that sniper rifle to fit properly.
Oh yeah, you're not going to be able to.
When I've seen people do it, you can see that the hand is barely on it. That's how mine are. And I'm like, I understand that it looks like a hunting rifle, probably because of how it's painted, right? But it doesn't pose properly. And I understand, hey, you made it realistic, but sometimes you have to take liberties and go, listen, this is an action figure. It's a sniper. It's really hard to pose it in a sniper.
Well, that's why you see a couple of the companies that have sniper rifles that are that design have a
molded hand.
No, well, they have a molded hand, or else they drop that stock down. You know, so it has kind of almost like a pistol grip, and then the stock comes back off of that. So,
and I complained about the face paint, and there was one person that said he was so pissed off about the video that he wasted 20 minutes. And I told Bobby B, I'm like, I'd send you screenshots, but it'd take 4 screenshots to do. And Bobby's like, oh, that guy, he goes, he critiqued everything that I said. He's like, that guy watched it more than once. So he wasted more than 20 minutes. He did not just go through it 20 minutes. But I pointed out the face paint, and there was someone, another person that said something. I'm like, it looks exactly the same as the camo on his uniform.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't believe that's how it'd be. Now, there was a military guy that said, you'd be surprised at how much we use, like how perfect we try and make it. I just don't believe that it'd be the exact same pattern all the way.
Well, that's just the thing, right? You would like when you're putting face camo on, yes, you could get it so it looks like woodland camo, but it's not going to be looking as digitally printed in the exact pattern as what's on the uniform. And
that's what bothered me. And again, people can sit there and say you're nitpicking, but it's like I'm doing a review.
Yeah.
And listen, and I've said this how many times, my experience may not be your experience. I understand that.
Yeah.
But for people to tell me, oh, I had no problem with that ghillie suit, nothing flaked off. Well, that I don't believe.
Yeah.
Because it's how it's made. They're gonna flake off.
They sprayed it down with that sealant stuff before they started touching it.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, in either way, it just doesn't look right. I mean, I'm sorry, it just doesn't look right. It's not a knock against them trying to do it. I think it's just hard to do a ghillie suit like that.
Yeah. I think the best ghillie suit I've ever seen done in a toy is, I think it was Blue Box Toys Incorporated back in the 2000s, did a 1/6 scale sniper. And what they did is they actually gave you a net that went on the figure's body that was like part of its oversuit. It was like coveralls, right? And there was netting attached to that. And you actually put the strings through the netting, and it was basically just strings, right? Pieces of thread. But when you got it all together, it looked fucking gorgeous. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on.
But yeah, I just think he should have done that figure without a ghillie suit. And let people buy it without the ghillie suit, because not everyone wants it. But $55, I mean, I'm sorry, I have people that, they see a Valaverse figure in a review and they're like, oh, if Hasbro gave you all this, it'd be $55. Well, did you see what comes with the 60th anniversary figure? There's a lot of retooling. But don't get me wrong. Well, this thing here, I mean, that's clearly going to come with wetsuit. It's going to be the new modern one. It's probably going to be yellow. It's going to be the wetsuit one, because they're not going to retool the whole thing. But they gave you a different rebreather. They did all kinds of different stuff. And it's $35. Yeah, they didn't give you a bunch of hands, but I don't need a bunch of hands.
No.
And again,
the only time, it's funny because like Mezco comes with a shit ton of hands, right? Like each Mezco Gomez comes with, I think, 12 or 14 hands.
Yeah.
But you know how they pop on and off, right? Just a tiny little peg.
Oh, so easy.
So easy. And then secondly, like there's a whole bunch of different hand variations, right? There's just a gripping hand, fist hands, middle finger hands, spread open hands, holding hands. It's just like there's so many variations and they're so easy to get on and off that I use them a lot. But like my Valaverse and my Joes, I never switch the fucking hands.
No. I'm perfectly fine with trigger hands for everything. Don't get me wrong. Some fist hands would be nice. It's cool what they did with rock and roll, trying to work on that.
Yeah.
But I don't need a trigger hand, a thumb wrestling hand, and then the cupped hand.
Right.
Because as I've mentioned in most videos, I want to pry the hand open so it actually clasps the gun. Because that Valaverse hand, that C cup hand.
Yeah, the gun drifts off of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, it's really good for posing.
I like using it for the pistol hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Works really good for that. And again, his the Valaverse butterflies are really good.
Yes.
But not with the vest, not with the plate carriers. You can't do shit. Those plate carriers are too big. And then you have the magazine pouches and the knife that are always in the way. I just had one. I have one right. Like, this is the Duster one. And again, like, you want to cross it, so he's shooting this way. This knife is in the way. Now, this plate carrier, if people don't realize, these are just glued on. So he changes the stuff around to make it look different. And that's a good idea. But the problem is this thing is not very pliable. And when these things are sticking out, and you're trying to shoot across, and it's an action figure, so obviously things don't move the same as a human would. It's hard to pose it. And when you have, I don't know if this one is that bad. Some of the other
smaller
ones,
that one isn't that bad, but the bigger vest style one is really bad.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter that it has the butterfly; it doesn't work.
Right.
Conversely, Hasbro has like 3 figures, $3 that the butterfly works on, and that's I think the torpedo buck I think does. I know the twins do, but they're a standalone. Like, I think the ninjas maybe. I think Storm Shadow might. But for the most part, the butterfly doesn't work. So it's just there for aesthetics to say you have it.
Yeah. I get frustrated with the Masterverse not being able to like two-handed hold swords. I really wish they did.
Yeah,
I would see how that would be very bothersome.
So this is the Marine Corps sniper that I was telling you about that Blue Box did.
Wow.
Yeah, you had to put each one of these threads in individually, then fray them. But I mean, it looked incredible when it was done. It took me 2 days to do it.
Yeah,
I did
I'd
the
rather
bottom
watch
half,
soccer and then we'll go watch golf right after.
but I mean, like when it was said and done, it looked incredible.
And that's also 1/6 scale.
Yeah,
so twice as big. Which as
but
you know,
that's the way you should do it. I mean, even in 1/12 scale, that'd be the way to do a suit, right? And you don't have to make people put the threads in. Have the factory put the threads in.
Yeah, and again, like it's one of those. It's not a big deal, but when you attack, as Johnny says here, gridiron here, when you start attacking another company for the one that they're doing, you better make yours fucking perfect.
Yeah.
And when it looks like a Swiffer, and it does look like a Swiffer, don't be mad when people make jokes about it. Don't be mad when I make jokes. Other people won't.
Vanos, did you see? I show you my the AWOC I'm working on. Check this out. I put myself on full screen real quick.
I'm probably gonna hop out and do a late night dinner, and I'll jump back in with you guys.
I actually pierced his ears.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, I had to see that real quick.
Does that mean he's gay?
All right, I'll be back.
No, that means he's going to be a pirate, Lawrence. And it's his left ear. It's his left ear, so it wouldn't mean he's gay anyway, even back in the 80s.
Oh my god!
I never knew which ear. Like,
oh my god! I totally remember that. You're only gay if you pierce both, but if you only did the left,
I only ever did one piercing. It was my tongue. I never did any other piercings.
I had 15 piercings at one time.
0. Just as many piercings. I have tattoos.
I went with piercings only because when I was younger, I couldn't figure out something I want to get tattooed on my body permanently that I would enjoy when I was 70, and that was my biggest problem.
That's what I tell everyone. I told my oldest daughter. I tell my kids now, because my oldest and her mom, they both got tattoos at the same time, and they're similar things. That's cool. And actually, I think my daughter has more now.
Yeah. My one daughter has 2 tattoos. She has I've always called her Princess since she was a baby, and so I wrote Princess in my handwriting, and she got that tattooed on her. And then her mom calls her Sunshine, and she got my ex-wife to write Sunshine, and she got that tattooed on her other side. So
see, that type of stuff is, and again, it's your body, so you can do whatever you want. I don't give a shit, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, but that thing, like when she's 70, she's going to look at that and remember, right? That's what her mom and dad called her, right? It's not just, some random thing I'm excited about, like Boba Fett now, right? I mean, like when I'm 70, am I going to give a shit about Boba Fett? Probably, but who the fuck knows, right?
Are you trying to say that if I get across my shoulder here classified, that I might regret it?
I think you should get the Eagle Head G.I. Joe logo because that's cooler than the old logo.
Rise of Cobra on.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes, the movie.
No.
Think
about I regret you having that idea.
Think about all those people that have the Palatoy Action Force tattoo, and now they're like, fuck.
I don't know. Some people get tattoos, and it's like, they don't even really think about it again.
It's
like it's there. It's like, oh yeah, I have that tattooed. I know a guy who has a mustache tattooed on his finger so he can do this joke.
My buddy, he was a personal trainer. His ex-wife, she had it. I'm like, what the fuck is that on your finger? And she's like this. I'm like, dude, you have fucking issues. But I
knew a guy who got the words "your name" tattooed on his ass, and it was this big joke to walk around going like, "Hey, how was your weekend?" He's like, "Oh, I got your name tattooed on my ass," and you'd be like, "No, you didn't." He'd be like, "Yeah, I did," and then he'd show you his ass, and it says your name on his ass.
That's just the guy who wants to show his ass off.
Yep. He was that guy. He would show his ass off for anyone.
I don't think I need to do that to anyone. I just. But yeah, there's.
This is where we are. Did Gargamel get you yet, Lawrence?
Nope. I think, like I said, like if someone wants to get tattoos, it's your business. Like my buddy was a personal trainer. He was fucking built. And he had his sleeves. And actually, some of you would love this. It was the aliens.
Oh yeah.
It was the alien going down on both arms. And he had other stuff incorporated into it too. And he would have like ladies come up to him, and he goes, I had a lady that today come up to me and goes, why would you do that to your body? And he's like, excuse me? She's like, you keep yourself in such good shape, but why would you ruin your body by doing that? And he didn't give a shit. He was like, fuck you. Like I've always said, like, there's a way to, like, there's asking and questioning. And if you want to go, like, I hate when people get mad that they have a sleeve tattoo and they're like, don't ask me about my tattoos. Then don't fucking put them where everyone can see it, because it is something that someone should be able to ask about, right? Not question you, but ask. Hey, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Don't get pissy because you put it out there for. If I wear a shirt, that is clearly drawing attention to myself, I can't get pissed off when someone's like, what does your shirt mean? Like, I wear the Bad Religion shirt. It has a big fucking cross. When Susan was having one of her 4 back surgeries, I was walking through it. Guy stops me and said, hey, what is that on your shirt? And I talked to him, and he was a preacher. And he's like, that's a good conversation starter. We talked for like 20 minutes. And he wasn't offended by it, wasn't mad. I used to always say, I'm not married. Never been married. We had 2 kids. And I would have people and clients that I would talk to. Some would say, why aren't you married? Okay, you're asking a question. And then I would have people that would say, why aren't you married? Well, fuck you. It's none of your goddamn business. But if you're asking me, hey, how come you guys never got married? You had 2 kids and you live together and everything. Well, then you're just curiosity. But if you start questioning me, fuck you, dude. I don't have time for your shit. Then your fucking business. You don't pay for my kids.
Yeah. People like to interject themselves into other people's lives, though, and that's where the problem lies.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
But usually they're not expecting someone to kick back at them.
Yeah, that's true, right? They're usually expecting people to give them a polite answer or, explain themselves.
I've seen the error of my ways. I'm going to go get laser removal.
I'm going to go spend thousands of dollars on laser surgery to have my tattoos removed because you pointed me in the right direction.
But can you imagine going up to someone and like seriously, like telling them that they're ruining their body? Like, why do you care? What does it matter? Like,
yeah.
Like these tattoos don't bother anyone. It's like when I remember I had people ask me when we got pregnant with Andrew. I had one person ask me, like, so what if your son ends up being gay? I was like, what if he does? Like, I don't like what? Like, you seriously asked that question? But
my aunt asked me that about my son. What happens if your son turns gay? I'm like, well, then I love him and he's gay. What difference does it make?
Yeah, like, I hope he finds someone that makes him happy.
My daughter, my oldest daughter, who's 25, not my oldest, but my oldest with my ex-wife is 25. She came out as asexual or pansexual or whatever she is now. I don't know. She changes her mind all the time, but
it's like pretty opposite though.
Yeah. So it's like, and one time she was a lesbian, and then I don't know, she had a girlfriend that was a transgendered person. So I don't know if it was, I don't know how it works, but anyway, but like when she came out, right, to me, she was all worried I was going to be mad at her. I was like, I don't care who you love as long as they treat you good. That's what I care about.
Find someone that makes you happy.
Yep.
Because guess what? There's a lot of straight people that can't find someone that makes them happy.
Oh, for sure, right? It don't matter.
Yeah, like I don't care. Like, hey, if you're happy,
yeah.
But I mean, to have people ask something like that, and like, first off, that's like the first question you come to me and ask. What if your son ends up being gay? I don't know. What if I end up punching you in the fucking face? What?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, what? Like.
I remember when I came home from Texas, after I got out of the Army, I had, like I said, 15 piercings. And like I said, I grew up in a pretty fucking redneck area of fucking Western New York. And I went to my grandparents' house for a family get together or whatever. And, all my family was happy to see me because they hadn't seen me in a couple of years. And the first thing out of my grandfather's mouth is, why the fuck did you have to get earrings and not get a tattoo like a real man? I was like, it's like, how you doing, Gramps?
That is awesome.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Nah, I think, like you said, I think people feel like they have to interject how they are.
Yeah.
And I do it. But again, like,
my grandfather was Italian and he was from New York City, and we're pretty sure he was in the mafia. So, I mean, there was things you just, let him do because you disappear if you probably didn't. But
hey, listen, I had my dad had said for years, if anyone ever comes up to me, and they see like our last name on it, because they all had jackets, and he said, if anyone ever comes up and asks if I know so and so, his brother, he's like, if anyone ever asks you, you do not tell them that you know him. I said, why? He said, I'm not going to end up in a trunk because he did something to someone. Years later, we're getting on the bus for a field trip with my daughter. And the lady goes, hey, it just dawned on me, like, your daughter's last name. Are you related to so-and-so? And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. My dad has fucking conditioned me for this day my entire life. And I'm like,
did you answer correctly?
I did, because she's like, yeah, I would. And like, she's like, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, and he's like, yeah, works at Ford. His wife works there too. Like, we're all. I'm like, yeah, that's my uncle. And she's like, oh yeah, we're like super close. And before we retired, we also go to lunch, which was really shocking because my uncle may be a little not like people of a different color. So that's what really shocked me at that, where I was like, what the fuck, dude? And then she's like calling, I guess she would be my aunt. She's more like my step aunt, because no one's ever called her aunt, because his first wife, my cousin's mom, was like our aunt. But she's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to her right now. I'm like, God, fucking. And it was crazy because my daughter was like friends with her daughter, and she never put the names together until we were sitting there. And I think she probably noticed how short I was, the Mexican look, and then she was like, but it was like when she asked me, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, my dad has conditioned me not to say this since I was like 12 years old. And here I am in my 40s going, oh, fuck, what is the right answer? What is the right answer?
And you still fucked up.
I still fucked up.
I hate when people ask me, though.
Completely.
You never know what you're going to get, right? I mean, I remember I was a junior in high school. No, I was a freshman in high school. My brother was a junior. My brother was an asshole of a kid. And I remember the first day I'm in high school, I'm walking through the school, fucking lost. And the vice principal comes up to me, and I'm supposed to be at class already. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm fucking lost, right? And he's like, where are you supposed to be? I'm like, and I told him the room number, C103 or whatever the hell it was. And he's like, what's your name? And I was like, I told him my name, and he goes, are you related said my brother's name. I was like, yeah, he's my brother. He goes, I hope we're not going to have as many problems with you as we do with him. I was like, thanks, man. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
That happened to my little cousin because of me, because I got kicked out of like multiple schools. Like I was kind of an asshole like growing up. And he was a couple years behind me, and like the teachers remembered my name and would call my name while yelling at him. It's like,
yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, my dad would. I mean, he'd tell stories because there was 7 kids, 6 were boys, and the sister was the second youngest. So you can imagine, like, people didn't. I mean, you weren't really gonna fuck with her because they were already much older. But my dad, you know, he would tell stories about, like, he's like, yeah, one day we were walking home, him and one of his brothers, and these 3 guys started chasing him because the brother right above him had beat up one of the kids earlier in the day. And my dad, I'm like, why didn't you fight him? He goes, it wasn't my fight. I'm like, what did you do? He goes, we ran back to the house. And then what happened? He goes, oh. Then him and the oldest brother went out and beat up all 3 of them. I'm like, and my dad's like, I've never seen your uncle lose a fight. Like, he's also in a gang, a motorcycle gang and shit. You know, and you're just like, yep, But when you would talk to my uncle, he'd be like, it only takes that one time, man. He's like, no one really wins a fight. I'm like, yeah, that's not what I really hear. But he'd tell me my dad would tell me all kinds of stories, and you know, it's just one of those things where you're just like, motherfucker, like, you guys grew up in a hell of a fucking time.
Yeah. There's a lot of family secrets that come out, like, after the grandparents die and shit, you know, and it's like my family, my grandmother, my great grandma, right? She had been, her first husband worked on the railroad, and he like just took off after my grandfather was born and was just gone, right? And so after she passed away and then my grandparents passed away, my uncle started doing like all that 23andMe or family tree shit, right? Going through like our whole family tree and figuring out all this stuff, right? Well, when it come to find out, the guy that we thought was our great grandfather is not our great grandfather. And like so many people in my family are pissed because they can't believe that my great grandmother was, you know, a woman and, you know, and had sex with somebody else other than who she was married to when the guy left. And it was like, they're so offended that she might have been a little bit of a whore. It's like,
it's how people get born.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, so it's funny because
the guy left when she was like 23 or something like that. Like she never had sex again for her whole life. I mean, come on.
It's funny because, like, if you talk to, like, we have a big family, obviously. If you talk to like the female cousins, they'll be like, "Oh my god, Grandpa was so nice," and we're all like, "Dude, all I did was yell at us. Like, this guy he yelled at us about everything." And I was talking to it would be my ex aunt, but she's always been my aunt, right? And we were talking one day, and she goes, "You know, like, it was not your grandfather that beat them." I was like, "That's not what I heard," because she was married to the one that was probably had the most problems. She goes, "No," she goes, "It was your grandmother. She was the one that handed down the discipline." She's like, your grandfather never touched them. But your grandmother, on the other hand, like, that was the one that they that's the one you had to fear. And to me, my grandmother was wonderful. Like, I would not have crossed that woman. She was 4'9", 100% Mexican. She would have whooped anyone's fucking ass. I think I said this the other day. Like, she would whip every fucking one of us. And not even
your grandmother was like that that video that was going around Instagram for a while where like the monster breaks into the house and messes up the Mexican woman's floor after she just mopped it. And she grabs her slipper off and beats the shit out of this monster. And he ends up going into like the kids, like her son's bedroom, who was trying to warn the monster not to be walking around. You know, it was like Michael or Jason or something, right? It was like,
oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, pretty much. Again, like, you know, they grew up in that era, but like, you don't think about it. You know, you don't think about that. And then when, you know, you start looking back at it and you're like, yep, I can fully see it. But
I used to get so mad at my dad. Well, he's actually my stepdad, right? But he was one of those guys that, like, when you sat down for dinner, you cleaned your plate. Whether you liked it or not, you cleaned your plate, right? and I hated them for it because I fucking hate vegetables. But I always had to clean my plate. So there was times that I'd sit at dinner table till 9 o'clock at night when it was bedtime because I wouldn't eat my fucking vegetables. And so many years later, I find out the reason that he was like that is because when he was a kid, that was the rule in his house, right? And one day, they lived on a farm. It was time to go milk the fucking cows, and he hadn't finished his dinner yet. So his dad made him take his cheeseburger out, or whatever the sandwich was, to the barn with him and finish eating on the way to the barn. And he purposely dropped it in a pile of cow shit, and his dad made him pick it up and eat it. Because he knew he fucking did it on purpose. And he had to eat that shit sandwich.
Oh, God. That's
crazy.
So that's how I was with peas. I think peas are the most disgusting thing ever.
I agree 100%.
I would gag. I would gag eating them. My daughter hates them more than I do. Like, she would make us pick them out of everything. And I can remember, like it was yesterday, I'm gagging. My dad would make me eat them.
Yep.
And my mom lost it. She's like, never again. He doesn't have to eat peas again. I'm not making them. Lawrence, I'm not watching this again. He is done. He doesn't have to eat them. And I wasn't even doing it because I didn't want. I hate the taste of them so much.
I got to the point where I could like put a spoonful of peas in my mouth, and then I would just take a big drink and wash them down whole, so I didn't have to chew them.
I don't think I made it that far because I think I was able to not.
There was no. My mom didn't say a word. If my dad laid down the law, my mom didn't say a word. I did have a dog that got trained really well and liked vegetables, so that worked out well because I didn't like beans either, and my dad loved all the beans, right? Kidney beans, garbanzo beans, green beans, all of it, right? And I fucking hate vegetables. I literally hate fucking
They're awful.
See, growing up, that's how my dad was. Like, we would have corn and potatoes, every once in a while peas, and then carrots if they were cooked with meat. But those are like the only vegetables that were allowed in the house.
Yeah.
Like,
I would have liked your dad except for the peas. That would have been great.
Frozen corn is... I hate canned corn. Don't tell me it doesn't taste different. Yeah. It tastes way different.
Canned corn is gross.
But like, I don't like green beans. I can eat them. I don't like broccoli. I can eat them. Peas, just to this day, that
it's so bad. When I was still married and my ex-wife loves vegetables, right? And it was to the point where I made it a law, like in the house, that she wasn't allowed to cook broccoli when I was home or fucking cabbage because I can't even stand the smell of it.
Cabbage is nasty.
They're pretty pungent when they're being cooked. I love vegetables. Like, I'll eat any vegetable, but
and see, that's great. Like, hey, that's why hey, you love Masterverse and not G.I. Joe. You buy it. It's the same with food. Like,
I like lettuce.
I like carrots, but not cooked carrots. Like, that's disgusting. And my ex would be like, she's like, they don't taste any different. I'm like, bullshit. If they didn't taste any different, you wouldn't do it.
Yep.
They taste different.
But she also will not eat a steak unless if it is, well, butterfly she does.
Yeah.
I'm like,
my ex-wife was the same way. That thing had to be fucking shoe leather or she wasn't going to touch it.
Yep.
And she would, if we had steak, I wasn't even allowed to eat at the same table as her because like mine's like, slap it on the ass, put it on the plate. I'm good. Right. She couldn't stand watching the juice come out of it.
Yeah. My ex hated that too, which is odd because she loved.
Yes. You're fucked up, Woody. Cause you love peas and pea soup. You're fucked up.
You're fine.
Oh, Cop's sitting down there waiting to come back in.
All good.
That was a fast dinner.
Did you have any vegetables?
Yeah. If you guys asked when I just had some pea soup. I was listening. I just had to reheat it and scarf it down some lasagna.
Don't worry, we're not going anywhere.
No, I didn't think so.
We're certainly not going to a fucking vegetarian restaurant. That's where we're not going.
I might.
Oh no, we won't be eating out there at Joe Fest for sure.
God.
So how long is the drive for you to Joe Fest?
Mine's going to be like 13 hours, roughly 12 hours. We're only going to Augusta, so yeah, like 12. because it's.
But Augusta's further away for me because it's towards.
Yeah, it's more east,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So that's why, like when Aaron was like, he said, "Hey, you know what? You're more than welcome to stay the night here."
Oh, that's even worse. Fucking Brussels sprouts.
Oh, Brussels sprouts. They are awful. You know what? Cauliflower. Ugh.
None of that shit, man. None of that shit.
And you know, I don't care what anyone says.
We are Motu and vegetables.
Yep, Motu and vegetables.
You know, the other thing that is nasty is celery.
I like celery.
My ex is like, it doesn't have taste. I'm like, bullshit, it doesn't. She's like, put peanut butter on it. No, then I just ruined the peanut butter. I'm just thinking
people put the fucking, what is it called? Ants on a log where they put peanut butter on a fucking celery stick or raisins. Fuck that shit. Just give me the peanut butter. Leave the rest of the shit alone. I don't need it.
Raisins, I can do.
I don't even know how those fit. Like speaking moist, like pea soup.
Because they're in California.
I guess.
No, Aaron just had Brussels sprout. No way he's having sex with his wife tonight because he's fucking farting like shit.
Yeah, right there.
Just give me the fucking ham bone. I'll eat the ham bone before you eat the fucking pea soup.
There are some things that are just not made to go together.
I cook a lot now for everybody, so I've learned to cook the vegetables, but I still don't eat them. So I'll have my son here when I'm cooking something. I'm like, "How's this taste?" He's like, "Oh, it's good." I'm like, "That's good."
No,
there's so many things that I cook for people that I never taste because I don't eat the fucking vegetables.
Like last night I made fajitas. I love fajitas with like bell pepper and onion. Nothing like that for you.
I like onions, but they don't like me, so I can't eat them because they just give me bad heartburn.
We had a cactus blossom today from Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah,
it's basically the blooming onion.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, I love them, but man, I eat those things and I just die.
So you want to hear something crazy? Is that we used to always go to Texas Roadhouse and get that cactus blossom, right, with my ex and everything. And then one day she got like super like faint, like she was almost ready to ask me to take her to the hospital. And then she kind of sat back and she was okay. She's like, I don't know what came over me. And then, a couple weeks later, like next month or whatever, we went back. Same thing happened. And we couldn't figure it out. It was probably like the 4th or 5th time. And I'm like, don't eat that. And she's like, why? I'm like, every time you eat that, you get faint. And she's like, no, we used to have it all the time. I'm like, you're right. And I think we came down to whatever the zesty sauce, it was making her feel faint. Like you could see it on her face. Like, when someone's like fake, and she didn't fake shit because this is a woman that's had fucking 4 back surgeries, heart surgery, thyroid removed. I mean, I can go on and on with. She's a medical book. And like, you're just like, don't take that. And never happened again after that. But it's so weird. Like, I think it was the sauce.
Yeah.
Because she had a couple onions. I'm like, she's fine. But she tastes that sauce, and it's like.
So, Thanos, how long have you been a vegetarian?
I've been a vegan for about 11 years. Something like that. I was like, I'm going to try it for 2 weeks. And I just never stopped.
Oh, so you're full on,
huh?
Oh, full on vegan, right?
Yeah.
So you don't eat meat or anything at all?
I haven't eaten meat in over a decade.
There's a lot of good stuff, like vegan stuff that people are like, oh, man, you should even just try it. Just like there's some stuff out there that you won't even believe.
What made you decide that you were going to try that? Just health
reasons? I used to be like pretty heavy. Like I'm still a little overweight, but I used to be like pretty heavy. And I was getting into shape. I was exercising more, and I was trying out a bunch of different diets. And when I got to veganism, it stuck.
Oh,
so I was
good.
Like,
good for you. I could never do it because I just don't like vegetables, so it'd be tough. I'd starve to death.
I've never been a picky eater, so like I can try like all different kinds of things. But now the idea of eating meat like grosses me out. Part of that's probably because I used to clean up in a butcher shop, so like after doing that for about 5 years, like I look at meat a little bit differently.
I worked in I did some things in a chicken processing plant, and everybody's like, "Oh, you'll never eat chicken again." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't fucking bother me."
Yeah,
I used to slaughter fucking animals though, as from a farm. So I mean, it's just one of those things you do.
Yeah, My cousin used to work at a kosher slaughterhouse. The rabbis would come in and bless the animals, and then he'd kill them.
Yeah.
I've been a vegan since the stream started.
I've been on hunger strike since the stream started.
Yeah, I'm there too right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I just took care of that. I was starving.
Now, like honestly though, I never would have thought like I used to love meat and cheese and.
How heavy were you at your heaviest?
I was about 100 pounds heavier than what I am now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so crazy from like somebody else I know that's vegan, didn't eat meat or anything for a while and said had a burger later on after that. Just had a burger one day and was so freaking sick.
Yeah. Well, your body changes the way it processes.
Yeah,
shit,
and just they went straight back to it and never ate a burger again.
I can't imagine like eating meat now. Like the idea like really grosses me out.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Do you eat the veggie burgers and shit like that though?
Sometimes the Beyond ones not too bad. Like the Beyond burger and the Beyond sausage aren't too bad.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty gross though. Like honestly.
Yeah, I tried a vegan burger last summer.
Good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones. Like a lot of terrible ones.
My grandparents, Seventh-day Adventist. Like my parent or my dad was too, but we didn't really do it at home. But when the weekends we'd go over there, and they were just all vegetarian, not quite vegan. Vegan wasn't even a thing out then. But I grew up on all kinds of fake chickens and sausages and everything, and there was some good stuff out there. Like some stuff I'll still buy once in a while, just because it has a different flavor to it.
My ex-wife and my son both have celiac disease, so they can't eat gluten, right? So that takes a lot of like the real bread and stuff. I can't even stand eating some of the shit they got to eat. The fucking shit doesn't.
Dude, I love bread, like bread, tortillas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would die without that stuff. Like,
oh yeah, I just had some breadsticks with that lasagna. It was so damn good.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like they're like, oh, just get the cauliflower crust pizza. Fuck that. It's got cauliflower in it. I ain't fucking eating it. That's all there is to it.
There's nothing good about cauliflower. Like there's nothing that tastes good about it.
I like cauliflower. Like,
yeah, I do too.
Something wrong with
I can eat it raw. I like it fried. Like make soup out of it. I've done like cauliflower tortillas. Like
I've made shit from cauliflower for my kid and my ex-wife. Like, you know,
it's actually good as if you cook them like you would do chicken wings. They're super good. Like they're really good.
Yeah, I did that.
I was gonna say like buffalo chicken, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I've done that.
I'm trying to think if I've tried that. I know.
Oh, fucking asparagus! Jesus Christ, Aaron!
I love asparagus.
Just
said that the other night.
Yeah, I have a friend that did the keto diet. He was like 400 pounds, and he's dropped probably about 175 in the last 2 years just doing keto diet.
Yeah.
My cousin and his wife did keto, and it'll shred your pounds off because your body like goes into like that starvation mode and just starts burning all the fat. I actually took some nutrition courses before I did the diet, so I would know what the hell I'm doing. Like when I was trying out all the diets, I was taking nutrition classes. I don't know.
That's probably a good thing to do though when you're actually trying out different diets, because all the shit they try selling you, you know, in the media and stuff is not real, right? I mean, it's like,
yeah, my friend
it's not every diet's going to work for everybody. You like my friend that's 400 pounds. He tried 100 different diets and couldn't lose any weight. Then did the keto and he started dropping pounds.
When I first went vegan though, I was in like really, really good shape. Like I've let myself go over the last like 5 or 6 years just because I don't exercise like I used to. But you know, you get old, you work like 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's hard when you're in a car all the time too, right?
Yeah.
People always want to find a diet. It's not about a diet. It's about just learning how to eat properly.
Yeah, it's really a lifestyle change.
When I say diet, I don't mean like I'm doing this temporarily and
I'm not saying.
I mean that is my diet. You know what I mean? Like that's the way.
I think that's what people like where they mess up. And I'm not saying you, but like people are always like, oh, I don't, I've tried this diet. I've tried this. It's like, no, your diet, you just need to have a specific diet. not a diet, but your diet. You just need to learn how to eat properly.
Yeah. My ex-wife is a personal trainer. That was one of the hardest things she's trying to get people to understand is that you don't need to diet. You need to have a change of life so you eat properly, in smaller portions and eat, well-balanced meals and things like that. Not just, because they're like, oh, I don't eat all day long. No, but you don't eat all day long. But then you sit down at 10 o'clock and you pound down 10,000 calories of shit. That's
I don't know. I'm just lucky. I eat like freaking horrible.
That's what I used to do. I weighed 335 pounds, and that's what I did. I wouldn't eat all day, but then 10 o'clock at night, everybody would go to bed, and I would just fucking binge. And
I think my heaviest I've gotten to 199. I've never even broke 200. And I'm like,
ass motherfucker.
I eat whatever the hell I want. I eat late. I eat in the middle of the night in bed.
And what do you weigh?
What's up?
You're a fucking twig, Cobb.
I know. I'm like
you must have a good metabolism.
195, 6'2".
That's my son, Luke. He eats like a fucking hog, and he doesn't gain any bit of weight at all.
I know. I've never been like that.
I'm like 192. I cannot get under 190. I also don't eat well, so it might be that too. But I carry a lot of muscle on me too, but it's fucking. When I hear these basketball players,
like a teenager trying to gain weight, there was like no way I wanted to gain weight and freaking tried all kinds of shakes and stuff, work out. And I'm like, I'm just a skinny kid. That's all.
192 is actually pretty heavy for a guy your height, Lawrence.
Oh, it says I'm fucking obese.
Yeah.
I mean, I hit 204,
and that wasn't even meant as a short.
Like the same weight almost. I got a foot on you though.
Yeah, it's like I'm
because I'm 207 right now, so I mean that's not much.
I mean the doctors looked at me and he's like it's gonna be hard for you because you're all solid. Like I carry some in my gut, but everything's like even my gut is super fucking hard. Like guys thought like there was a guy that started fucking around with me one day.
I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but fuck, that made me laugh.
It's going back to your grandma might have been a whore.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But I'm just my doctor's like it's gonna be hard for you, to lose weight. Because people look at me and they're like, you don't weigh that much. I'm like, thank you for telling me how much I weigh.
Yeah,
you can tell me how tall I am next to. Yes, you are. Okay. You're not that short and you don't weigh that much. Oh, thank you very much.
And you're not Mexican either.
Yeah. No, I'm Puerto Rican. It's something I've never said in my entire life, even though I was told I told someone that. No, you told me you were Puerto Rican. I've never said that. I can promise you I've never once told anybody that in my entire life.
Not even as a joke.
Yeah, not even as a joke. Like I might be disowned.
I was just telling one of my friends today a story about. I remember when I was in basic training for the Army, because he was asking me how basic was when I was in. I was telling them they were pretty rough, and they break you down to build you back up. That's their thing, right? And I said it was really bad if you were kind of overweight because, you had to do like push-ups and pull-ups and shit to actually go eat in the chow hall. That's what they made you do, And we had this one dude who was from Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico is, a territory of the U.S., so they're allowed to be in the military with us. And this guy was Puerto Rican, and he was a bigger dude. I mean, he was probably like 6'3", 6'4" anyway, but he was just a big dude, right? And I'll never forget because he was trying to do pull-ups, and of course he couldn't do pull-ups because, he was, 300 pounds because he was such a big dude. And he fell off the pull-up bar and landed on his stomach, and the fucking drill sergeants are circling around him like sharks, and they're like, get off your fat ass, you Puerto Rican pork chop. And I never forgot that. And the poor guy was called that for the next 2 fucking months in basic training. Well, in the Army back then, when you were overweight and couldn't pass your physical fitness test, you got sent to what was called the PCP, which was actually the physical something platoon, right? but they always called it the pork chop platoon. So that's where the pork chop came from. And then he was Puerto Rican and was like, oh my God.
PCP.
Yep. Pork chop platoon.
So awesome.
Yeah. You never want to get a name when you're in the service because it sticks with you for a long time.
That's what I heard.
There's no way I would have ever been able to do military service. Like, I do not like people yelling at me. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like to cut my hair. Like,
I can honestly say if I hadn't gone into the Army, I probably wouldn't be alive right now because I was heading down a path that was not good.
Yeah. I mean, it works for people, but I wouldn't have been able to do it.
I think some people need it. You know,
absolutely.
In this day and age, there's so many people, so many kids that think they're like, you know, they're like, oh yeah, you know what, yell at me, yeah, use a fear tactic. That's really gonna work. I'm like, it has worked for every fucking generation till now.
Yeah.
You know,
when I was in, there were still guys that are getting put in there instead of going to jail and doing fucking, you know, community service. They were still allowing that back then.
Being yelled at. I went through that scared straight program.
Oh yeah,
I've been through that.
I had a couple of friends that went through that.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of people like the same thing that Thanos was saying. Like, you know, they're like, "Have you been in the military?" I'm like, "Nope." And they're like, "Really?" Which once again, like, okay, I know I'm lying to you. I'm like, why do you ask that?
Are you sure you
told me you were in the military, Lawrence?
Yeah. Are you sure?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you were in the Puerto Rican military.
Military. But I was like, well, why do you say that? I'm like, just how you carry yourself. You stand very, erect. All right, go on, jokes. But you know, I'm just like, I never really thought of it like that. And there's like everything you do is very proper. And so we just thought like maybe, you know, you're in the military. As a matter of fact, Steve from
because you collect Joes.
Well, that's another thing. But Steve from Delta 17 had asked me after a stream. He's like, "Are you in the military or have you served?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You really carry yourself like you did." I'm like, nope. But I don't like, and you know, when people would ask why, I'm like, I don't like being told what to do. I don't. Same reason I don't want to go to jail. If I want to go get a Mountain Dew, I want to be able to jump in my fucking car and go get one. I don't want someone telling me I can't. In prison, you really can't.
Yeah.
But I do think a lot of people do need it.
My dad
Definitely a good
was
thing
in
for
the
discipline.
military. It's like where he learned his profession. He was a nurse, but he learned how to do it in the Navy.
Yeah. My dad too. That's crazy.
Wow. That just wrote its own joke. He learned to be a nurse in the Navy.
I mean, it worked for him.
I know, but it wrote its own joke because everyone knows what people used to say about, you know, guys in the Navy back in the day.
And male nurses, but
yeah.
And male nurses, yeah. Of course, you find out they have the Navy SEALs, and you're like, okay, well, maybe, just maybe.
When I was in the service at Fort Gordon, we had, because it was one of the biggest communication training bases in the government, and so we had Marines and Navy guys and Air Force guys there all the time. And I used to laugh because we go to the bars and stuff, and the Marines would start fighting with the Navy dudes. But it's like, you realize the Marines are just an offshoot of the Navy, right, guys? And they're like, no, we're not. We're the Marines. I'm like, yeah, but you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Navy. You realize that, right? No, we're the Marines. We're the best. I'm like, yep. But what does Marine mean? Marine means water.
I thought so. This was actually funny. I told you, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. You know, a guy that I used to work out with, he wasn't a SEAL. He got mad at me when I called him a SEAL. He's like, I never told you I was a SEAL. But he did missions with the SEALs, and he went through all the training with them. But because of his classification, he's like, I couldn't be a SEAL. But I went in with them into missions with them. And my buddy, that's a chemical engineer in Charleston, there. He teaches the submariners, or he taught the submariners what to do if there's a nuclear meltdown, right? And he would talk about how the submariners were getting fights all the time and shit. And I was like, really? Like, they're all that fucking big and bad. So when I was talking to this other guy a year or two later, and I was like, oh, you hung out with the SEALs. That must have been like seeing them go to fucking, going to bars and you guys getting fights and shit. He's like, no. He goes, it was the submariners. I'm like, I had a buddy say that. Why is that? He goes, because they're going underwater for 6 months and there's only so many of them that can do it. So they get in a fucking fight, they get arrested, and the XO would show up and go like, all right, well, unless if you can give me 5 other submariners, I need them out now. And unless if they did something really awful, they were getting released. And I was like, oh, that actually makes... He's like, so those guys were the ones that they knew as long as they weren't pretty much committing murder, they were going to get out of whatever they did.
Yeah.
So they went to the bar, they got in a fight, they got locked up. XO shows up because they're like, we're going underwater for 6 months, man. Like, someone has to do it.
Yeah. It's kind of like in the beginning of Armageddon when they realize they're going on a one-way mission to asteroid. They just go out and do all that crazy shit.
Yeah. So, and it made sense. Like, once he explained it that way and went, oh, that makes complete and utter sense that, you would...
Again, though, like we were talking about before, off screen, certain groups in the military don't discuss what they do in the military. They don't flash it around. They don't get in fights like the Navy SEALs, right? They just don't have to. If they can, if it comes to it, but they don't have to.
So there's a you would probably know him. He was an MMA fighter, but he trains soldiers and stuff how to fight, like hand-to-hand combat. And he worked with he was telling the story. And he said, this guy has a foreign voice too. Oh shit! You know him as soon as you saw him. He was on King of Queens. He was on King of Queens and shit. But anyway, he was talking about how he got in this fight with this guy that said he was a Navy SEAL. And he goes, I knew he wasn't a SEAL. He goes, because first off, I train the SEAls. He goes, I train them what to do with hand-to-hand combat and stuff. And he goes, they don't go around bragging that they're Navy SEAls. And this guy had a big fucking SEAL tattoo. He was bragging about it, and he was being very boisterous. And then we got into it. And the host was like, well, what if he ended up being a SEAL? He goes, I knew he wasn't. He goes, I train them. They don't talk like that. They don't go in there. They already know they can beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
They're not looking. This guy was bragging about it. He's being boisterous. He's showing you. He said, and I fucking took him out and basically embarrassed him in front of everyone, put him to sleep. He's like, when you put someone to sleep, a lot of times they'll shit themselves, and he's like, but I knew from exactly how he was acting. Like, they don't act like that.
No.
And again, as we were discussing, a lot of time from what I have known from guys that have served in the military, most guys that have seen combat do not go around bragging about it.
No.
There's people that have never seen combat that want to talk about it.
Yep.
And you see the people that have seen combat, they get pissed about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like my father-in-law, right? He was in combat in Vietnam. He didn't start talking about it other than with other Vietnam vets to anybody, but till I ended up in his life, because I was in the same unit as he was and everything else. And I was the first person outside of his group therapy that ever knew any of the shit that he did when he was in fucking Vietnam.
Yeah. My oldest uncle was in Vietnam, and I've never once sat down and talked to him about it. And I don't believe... No, I was actually thinking about him just the other day. He said he was going off for a while, and I haven't seen him.
Yeah. Because he hasn't even been on with Robert, has he?
No, he said he was going off for a while, so I don't know. Hope everything's good, but
yeah,
you never know.
Sometimes you need a break, like Oz is on a break right now, just because there's just time to take a break and refocus.
You get burnt out. You get. I mean, I don't think people realize how burnt out you can get of doing this, especially like with all the content that I'm that I'm doing. Like my buddy got those Lobos, which look awesome, and I don't, because I'm not so deep into it. I don't even want to do it. Where if I was doing the show, I want to do it right away.
Most of us have to have a real job on top of everything else, right? So it's like, you're putting 40 hours into that, maybe more if you're Thanos and don't have a boss, or have a boss that isn't your boss that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and make you work.
We had corporate in the building all week, which was an extra bunch of people all up on my shit. It's like, I've been handling this position, like, even when I had a boss, like, I did everything anyway. And then, but when she left, people just stepped in and, like, tell me how to do it. It's like, you don't even know how it runs. Like, I know all the companies. I know, like, all this stuff. Like, I just do it. I handle it. It's fine. But other people getting in my way, it's like, just get out of my way. Go. Okay. Get out of my office. Leave me alone. Like,
so I want to address what Todd C just said there. He says, I need a break from just watching YouTube. I get sick of toys just watching videos. The more and more that I've done, the more and more I've got to know people. Almost all the toy streams that I watch, I used to love Geek Dead Life. I used to love Toy Anxiety. I can't remember the last time I watched them. I watch Ed. I watch Payne because they're friends of mine. But if I didn't get to know you, I would not watch your shit just because I have to be. I'm so invested in this. I think about it so much while I'm working and what I'm going to do. I literally pull away, and I completely pull away almost all week other than watching the people that I know because I want to support them. But
well, that's just it, right?
I watch YouTube.
I don't watch, other than Robo Show. If I don't know you personally, I don't watch your stream, right? Unless we're friends through the internet or whatever. I mean, like good friends, like, people I talk to on a regular basis. I don't watch it. I just can't. It's just too much.
I do. I watch Robo. I think he's funny, but it's also show prep for me. It's show prep because he catches a lot of things.
But like, I can watch Robo on Saturday morning, and I'll watch some of his reviews if it's a figure I'm interested in, and that's all I need, right? That tells me everything I need to know. I mean, that's it.
I usually watch Bees because again, I'm friends with them. But yeah, like I watch very few reviews because I don't really. I mean, it's not that I don't care. And Geek Dead Life, since John left, I don't have much interest in watching. There's no chemistry in the people that he brings on. It's not as fun. Tomorrow's going to be, John's last day. Again, against the Super Bowl. Probably not. But it should be over by the time it's over. But I have to decompress. Now, I watch YouTube. I watch a lot of crime stuff. I watch the crime stuff. I've really been on the Griselda shit because that TV show is nothing like what really happened. So anything like that, I'll watch. But watching toy stuff, man,
YouTube is basically all I watch now. But like, I watch a couple of like cryptid shit all the time, of course. But then I watch some metal detecting guys that go metal detecting and shit like that. And other than that, I watch you guys.
Yeah,
I think Lawrence was the only show I caught this week, and I didn't even watch like all of it. But it's just because I was, like I said, I've been working early and working late, so just kind of like didn't have time this week.
Yeah, and that's like the thing. Like, I know a lot of people will just like they turn on my video, they hit that like button because they want to support me. They probably watch 30 seconds to a couple minutes of it. Great, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I can't expect everyone to watch it. Watch everything, all 30 minutes of a fucking review that I did. I don't know how I even expect anyone to watch it, let alone everyone. But it is tough, man, because you have to decompress. Like when you first get into it, you're watching everything. And then as you go more and more down that rabbit hole, you're like, I cannot be watching YouTube like Toy Tubers all fucking day.
Yeah. Well, the other problem is, right, it's like if you watch it enough, right? Yes, there are some people like, that have specific things they cover, but for the most part, there's a lot of guys that cover the same stuff, right? And it's all the same.
Yes.
Like when Valiverse drops a new set of figures, Classified drops a new set of figures, you could go on YouTube and you could watch 100 reviews that are all the same with those figures.
Yeah. And again, like that's why I said, like, my Monday show, I try and make it so people are tuning in, and I know this, like, I'm not going to act stupid and be like, I don't realize this. People are tuning in because they like my personality, and more people are watching the McFarlane shit because they want to hear the quips. They want to see what the other people are making jokes about, And I try and sketch. I've set it up so you can watch it on the replay. But how many times can you listen to another streamer just talk about the news and just tell you, hey, this figure's coming out?
Right.
It gets mundane. It gets boring.
Yeah.
And
Down South just said it perfect, right? The news all comes from a few sources, and it's just who do you want to hear it from?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, my Monday show, I'm going through the news. It's already happened all, the week before, but people are tuned in because I believe I'm making most people laugh, that have tuned in. The camaraderie and everyone, again, we have a community, and that community is talking with each other. If there was, again, how many streams do we see? And you look at you're looking at the chat and you're like, oh, fuck, I made a comment 10 minutes ago and it's still on screen.
Yeah.
Because not that many people have, made any comments. So, fuck.
Matthew's getting caught up on his Billy Jack so we can do a Punks on Film.
Are you guys going to do that in 2 weeks then?
He hasn't told me what day yet. So
okay.
If that's the case, I got to watch it. What's up, Briscoe?
All right. Well, you talk with him. If you guys want to do it in 2 weeks, I'm fine with that because I don't really have anything scheduled. Like we were going to do a list, but deciding what list we were going to do, well, that's something I would have to do. I don't really want to.
Oh, you mean another list of, like you did with the wrestlers?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we were going to do Tom Cruise movies and then make Allison watch whichever one won.
Okay. So he says 4 weeks for sure. That probably works better for me anyway, because
my vote for Tom Cruise is Legend or Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
Oh, see, I can't include Tropic Thunder because he was not the main.
Okay.
Legend.
I love him.
I would say Legend or Risky Business.
What is Legend? I've never.
Legend's great. Like if you haven't seen it, it's one of his early movies.
Yeah, that was
really
one of his first ones.
Yeah,
it's a fantasy one though, so that was probably.
I just don't think that's something. Yeah, Lawrence has seen. Just based on what I know you watch.
He was awesome in Tropic.
But I want to see Allison. I mean, I want Allison to have to watch.
She's not going to watch Top Gun. She's not going to watch it. She's made it this far.
All in sick that day.
Okay, first off, listen. Top Gun is an amazing movie in so many ways. Not because it's great. Now, Top Gun 2 is great. I don't care what anyone says. It is a fucking awesome movie. Top Gun has so many awesome moments of total bullshit that it's awesome. But
Top Gun was made when I was in fucking 8th grade.
I know.
It is so 80s, it's not even funny.
I agree. But
it was cool when I was in 8th grade.
But it is so bad that it's good. Slider, you stink. And he smells himself. And do you realize how many actual real actors were actually in that movie? Like you start looking at all those pilots, they all went on to have like real acting careers. Yeah. But The Last Samurai, I think, is absolutely awesome. I love The Last Samurai.
I like Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movies. I enjoyed those.
Yeah, and that was one thing I said to Matthew is that those are just going to get lumped in together because you can't be picking all the different ones.
No.
And the thing about Tom Cruise is really he only has those as a sequel and Maverick. I don't think he has any other sequels. But I think Minority Report is awesome. Yes. A Few Good Men is really good. I mean,
I like Interview with the Vampire.
I have not seen that in a long ass time.
It was good.
I love Clueless. You're talking to the wrong person. My kids and I, we watched Clueless and they absolutely loved it. As if
good movie,
the car came out of nowhere that she hit. That's just art. Dude, I love Clueless. Like we can watch that one for sure. I think Allison, listen, you may not like. Yeah, Minority Report is awesome. I don't know Legend. Now I feel like I have to go watch it. Not tonight though.
Well, it's fantasy, so that's why you haven't seen it.
Yes. What do you mean it's fantasy? I still lots of fantasy. I saw Star Wars.
You haven't fucking seen Raiders of the Lost Ark yet, okay?
That's my choice.
Did you watch Beastmaster?
I did not.
Okay. Did you
How did you not see Beastmaster?
Did you watch Dragon Slayer
on the TV every day?
It was always on. I never had an interest because
Conan's.
What?
Any Conan?
I didn't care for the Conans that much.
So that's why you didn't watch Legend, because it's a fantasy movie.
Well, no, okay, so here's my issue. Okay, here's my issue with Beastmaster.
Word.
There was a time that in an action movie, if someone was going to be running around shirtless the whole time, they were going to be bigger than Mike Donovan from V. And I just had a hard time believing. I used to love Hercules, like the TV show, Hercules and Xena.
With Kevin
Sorbo? Kevin Sorbo. Love Kevin Sorbo. He's a nut job now, but hey, I loved him.
Beastmaster was awesome. There were so many good fucking fantasy movies from back in the 80s. Conan, Beastmaster, Last Dragon Slayer, Krull.
I can't imagine not seeing Beastmaster because it was literally.
Oh yeah, it was on every Saturday, all day long on TBS, USA, whatever the fuck cable channel.
I just never sat down to watch it. It never interested me.
I wonder why it's on right now.
I've never seen the Highlander.
I think Highlander's overrated.
Oh.
I watched. I think the first Highlander was good, but yeah, it definitely got overrated with it's a cult classic now, right?
Yeah. The sequels were terrible. The first one was okay,
yeah,
but I still
absolutely.
think it's overrated.
Willow was
Willow's good.
I
found Willow boring. Yeah, Willow bored me.
How could you be bored with Mad Mardigan?
I know. I love Val Kilmer.
And Willow Offgood.
Yeah, I knew that was going to get Matthew, the Highlander. It always looks stupid. But people say they love it. So that would be something I'd be willing to go back and watch. I don't have. Yeah.
Well, you need to go watch Legend. That's your homework for the week.
I haven't seen that in forever, but I remember really liking it.
Oh, the Sword and Sorcerer was a good one too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lady Hawk. Lady Hawk was another good fantasy movie from back in the day.
Was that with the blonde mom from that 70s show?
No, Lady Hawk had what the fuck's her name? Was it Michelle Pfeiffer? No.
I thought it was Donna's mom from that 70s show. I can't remember her name.
Maybe it was. I can't remember who was in it, but yeah, it was a blonde woman. And then the guy was basically a shapeshifter.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Or she was a shapeshifter, one of those two. Rutger Hauer. Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, it was Michelle Pfeiffer.
It was Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah. And Matthew Broderick.
Roberts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll say too. Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer isn't Lady Hawk. I thought it was Michelle Pfeiffer.
So, okay, did you guys see the Wraith?
Yeah, with the Dodge Lamborghini that was in there. Beautiful fucking car. Oh yeah. That was an awesome movie.
That's an awesome classic.
Yeah. I like the Wraith.
Okay,
that was another one that was on all the time.
Do you remember the movie Tank?
Tank?
Yes.
Tank Girl.
I remember Tank Girl.
I love that movie.
Tank is
Matthew Roderick. That was who it was.
It has oh shit, what the hell is his name? Look it up.
I mean, I've probably seen it, but I don't remember with it.
He owns a Sherman tank. James Gardner. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And he breaks his son out of the prison who's framed. Yep. My dad used to watch, and he's like, I'll tell you right now, if I had a Sherman tank and someone ever did that to you, that's exactly what I'd do.
Yeah, Matthew.
And it had the bad girl from Three's Company in it.
Tank Girl with Lori Page. She's just so good in that movie.
It had Suzanne Summers from
No.
Or the
her cousin that came in.
Oh.
But it has oh shit. His son is the guy in Red Dawn that everyone loves. The one that gets killed because he tries to take out the helicopter with the AK-47.
The original Red Dawn? I don't remember anybody else that was in there except for Patrick Swayze.
Charlie Sheen? C. Thomas Howell.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. C. Thomas Howell.
Man, you don't remember anyone else that was in that?
I remember them, but I don't remember like them, right? I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Oh wow, man. That movie's so good. Yeah, C. Thomas Howell's in that, Charlie Sheen. Obviously
Patrick Sarah Swayze. Jessica Parker was in that, right?
The Dirty Dancing girl.
Oh yeah, that was Jennifer Grey. That's what it was,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, speaking moistly, go to hell. Red Dawn sucks. You know what? You know why you don't like Red Dawn? Because they came up through fucking Canada or down through fucking Canada because you guys can't fucking defend anything.
Who did they have? What was it? It was the Koreans and the North Koreans in the remake, right? A Red Dawn.
I never watched the remake.
Neither did I.
Yeah,
because it was the Russians in the first one.
Okay, so it was supposed to be Russians.
Yeah.
And then they changed it, and they had to use.
They changed it because we were trying to fix our relationship with Russia at the time the movie was coming out.
And so, what's funny about that is that they filmed it here, and we had a copier in there, a really shitty copier that they rented from us. So I was going in there to fix it, and I would see all the pictures, and it took forever for that movie to come out. So it took forever for that movie to come out. So I would see all the pictures, and then you go in one day, and they had changed all the logos, but the colors were all the same still. Because they had to change it because we were trying to fix our relationship with them.
You don't want to piss China off in media. I mean, they consume a lot of our media, so gotta keep them happy.
Briscoe, as a Canadian, I can confirm what Pug said.
Yeah. It's funny to watch like some of the movie posters and shit, how they get changed when they go over to China, and how like certain parts of the movie aren't allowed to be in there when they get sent over to those places. It's crazy.
They'll even like reshoot and put like big Chinese actors into movies, like with extra scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild stuff.
We have, it's called Frankenmuth. I was actually just talking about it. We used to go to Frankenmuth, and we never realized that there was this military museum behind the hotel. So we went in there one day, and it's pretty much like you kind of walk through it. It's very small, but the old veteran was there, and let's say all the German weapons, and he specifically says that like all these German weapons, they're just thrown in there. We will not display them because they're not to be displayed, but you need to see them. So they're not set up nicely or anything. And then he's going through like the history of World War II, and he he's going through like these different panels, and he gets to the atomic bomb, and he was like, he's like the Canadians and stuff will say that certain things that they did is what ended the war. This is what ended the war. We ended the war when we dropped those bombs. And my ex and I are like, we're just here with our kids to like holy shit, dude! Like we don't really need to talk about the.
You ever seen a bunch of guys get fried by one of these fuckers? That's how I get a war, yeah.
But he was so mad about how like Canada says like they, if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have been, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did. He was like, this is what did it. I'm like, again, I don't think my daughter was born yet, so Emily, my oldest, she's probably maybe 10, 12 at the time, and you're like, we just want to like look at some cool stuff and go take pictures on the tank and stuff. Like, we weren't trying to get this serious about it. We go by the water slide over here.
That's funny.
I mean, I think we all know what essentially caused the war to end. Those A-bombs did enough to it ruined that. It ruined that alliance.
It was a quick, easy fix, that's for sure.
Yeah, imagine putting all that effort into bombing Pearl Harbor and then pretty much missing the.
There is a guy in Japan though who survived both bombs.
Yeah.
He was in the first bombing, ended up surviving, got on a train and went home, and that's when they dropped the second bomb, and he survived that one too.
Yeah.
See, then you should just go play a lotto because you obviously are winning. Like you are winning in something. I mean, everyone is gone.
I'm not sure they had the lotto in Japan in the 40s. So. I mean, maybe the lotto, whether you get picked to go to war or not, but not the lotto that you could win any money.
Then they had FanDuel, so you could bet on like if what city the U.S. will drop the A-bomb on again.
Right.
What's the next city the U.S. will drop the A-bomb on?
Probably true. Speaking moistly.
Off topic for movies, but when you said Charlie Sheen earlier, one of my favorite movies was Men at Work. You remember Men at Work?
Oh yeah, with his brother Emilio. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what the hell was the dude's name? The black dude that was in there. What the hell was his name? God, that was a good movie, though.
Yeah, I know. I watched that movie so many times as a kid. Just that was so funny as hell.
See, I like that. Like, I like what he said. I mean, I don't know if I agree that the V8 Interceptor from Mad Max is the greatest car movie that it's the greatest movie car. But I'm trying to think of like usually great cars are from TV shows because they last longer.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
ones that you really remember are from the TV shows for sure.
Yeah. Like the Wraith, but the Wraith looked amazing, but it has little 4-banger turbo wasn't gonna beat too much stuff. But when you think about like TV shows, you have KITT, the A-Team, how the A-Team had two. They had that shitty Corvette of Faces.
Yeah.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of like movies that have.
Starsky and Hutch had the Ford. Ford Torino, right?
I can't count the Dukes of Hazzard movie. I can't count their car because that comes from the TV show. The Chips.
The DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Okay, so there's one right there.
That's a good one, yeah. Herbie the Love Bug. That was a pretty popular car.
Yeah.
Keith David, yeah. Briscoe just got it.
Oh, you know what?
Keith David, yeah.
Oh, was that Keith David?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time either.
I know, he just did freaking Scarecrow, right? Hordak. Yeah.
The car in the Evil Dead movies. That's an Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. Because it's Sam Raimi's real car. Or was Sam Raimi's real car. Ooh, the Batmobile. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I find it hard to consider any of the Batmobiles like a movie car, though, because the Batmobile has basically been in every type of media possible.
But they're all different.
Yeah, the 89 one.
He's saying specifically 80, and I agree. 89 Batman is That is the
Allison's got a good pick too.
Christine.
Oh, Christine. I love Christine. That Magnum PI had a cool car. 80s.
Oh man, I love that Ferrari.
Christine was a great movie though. Did you see Christine, Lawrence?
No, I've never seen Christine, but I know what
oh my
it is.
Fucking God, Lawrence.
You should probably watch that at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't like those types of movies. Like I'm not
I'm not a big horror movie fan either, but that is a good movie. Like,
oh my God.
It's a horror movie.
No, that's not an 88. Wait, what? 88 Del? Oh no, that thing is way older than an 88 car. That's 73. I think the 73 Buick with down south. I said that might be. Fuck you, Matthew.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, yes, the Testarossa in Miami Vice. I only know it's called the Testarossa because of Miami Vice. But I can't think. I bet it not was Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit, yeah, the Trans Am, yeah.
But what was the car with the?
What, the 18 van?
The what?
What was the race?
The 18 van.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but again, that would be a.
The Wraith. It was.
It's a Delta 88. Okay.
The Wraith was a Dodge. It was a Dodge.
No, I'm sorry. What was the rally race? They Cannonball Run.
Oh, Cannonball Run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ambulance van was awesome. The Fall Guys Chevy pickup truck. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Dude, I love the Fall Guy.
Who didn't love the Fall Guy?
That was.
Never watched it.
That was classic 80s television. He had a stuntman with an awesome truck and a gorgeous blonde. That was the 80s.
And a sidekick.
Yep.
And a Robin.
Street Hawk. Wow, I forgot about Street Hawk. That was a cool show.
BJ McKay and his best friend Bear. And this in his semi. Oh, what about the semi with the Green Goblin on the front of it?
Is that from Maximum Overdrive?
Yes, Maximum Overdrive.
I rewatched that recently, and it was it did not hold up.
So even as a kid, I understood like everything was being taken over. It always drove me nuts that the machine gun, which was loaded for some reason on the Army Jeep, it was able to aim itself and start firing. I'm like, that's not how that would work. Like
none of it really made sense. Like honestly, I'm surprised they haven't redone that with like an AI spin though. Like that would.
Well, it made more sense now because cars are electronic. Back then they weren't. Everything now is electronically controlled. Ask a kid what a carburetor is. He can look at you and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. What about the semi truck from Convoy? That was an awesome semi truck. That was a cool truck movie. Remember Convoy?
I've never seen that.
Oh my fucking God, Lawrence!
I've never seen it either.
Good. See, not just me.
Yeah, but Thanos is a young guy. We'll forgive him.
I never heard of it.
You've never heard of Convoy?
I've heard of it. I'm trying to remember if I've seen it or not.
Matthew, you guys got to do Convoy.
And do you guys realize who BJ McKay?
You remember the Convoy song from CJ McCall, right?
That I know I've heard.
From what?
The singer was CJ McCall. It was Chris Christopherson was in it. Jesus, Lawrence.
Allison says it sucks, so the song sucked.
Yeah.
I like that idea, like best cars in movies. Like,
oh, that's a good list for you to do next week.
Yeah, but you guys are gonna do a movie in 2 weeks, so we gotta figure out something.
So it doesn't matter. You do a vote,
but we do the list and then we watch, and then we vote on the movie and then we watch that.
Yeah.
I use my fucking hands a lot.
I agree, Matthew. Well, that would be a good list to start, though. You know, movies that the cars made the movie just as much as the acting did, right? Something like that.
So, and well, I'm like, you can do that, and then you can do like ships, like planes and spacecraft. Like Top Gun would obviously be one of them because that F-14 is classic.
Yeah.
The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, if you did something like that, you'd have to do like something like you said before, like the Star Wars ships are all thrown into one. You know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would eliminate Star Wars right away.
Yeah. We just did Millennium Falcon and what's the Star Trek? The Enterprise.
Yeah.
Those are the only two available.
See, when it comes to the Enterprise, though, my issue is that the Next Generation one is the best Enterprise, the Enterprise D, and that was basically out of it. I mean, that came out of a TV show. The E did not. The E was made specifically for a movie, and then the Enterprise A refit. You know,
Ford Mustang from Bullitt, yeah. And then
I've
you got
never
the Dodge
seen
Challenger from
Yeah.
What the hell is the Dodge Challenger and the hell's the movie? I just lost my mind. Vanishing Point.
Yeah, Airwolf, Blue Thunder.
Yeah.
Later, Wraith.
Take care, Wraith. God, there's so many good ones. See, this is more work for me.
Vanishing Point had a Challenger in that one. It was awesome. Fuck. And then you got the car from Grease, the Grease Lightning. I mean, you can't do it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'll give you that one. I'm with you 100%. You are absolutely. Is he disgusting?
For fuck's sake, punk! Watch some movies this summer, please.
Watch a lot of movies.
Oh yeah, Eleanor. That's another one. Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. That's another good car movie.
Listen, I've seen a lot of movies. Like, you guys ever see the movie Midnight Madness?
Yeah.
Okay. Very few people have, and you can't find it. It doesn't even they Disney owns it. That's what's actually crazy. Pee-wee Herman's in it. Michael Fox is in it. Before he was Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Before he shook.
It's, do you remember that movie Michael J. Fox did, Secret of My Success or Secret to My Success, whatever the fuck it was called?
I remember it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
My dad, for whatever reason, absolutely loved that movie. And when we first got a VCR, my mom bought him that fucking movie on VHS tape, and he watched that movie like almost at least once or twice a week. It was so fucking bizarre because like he was this hardcore car guy, and he loved this fucking Secret of My Success movie.
Really?
Yeah, it was very bizarre. He'd laugh his ass off at it. I'm just like, this isn't. I mean, it wasn't even that funny. There were some funny parts in it, but
isn't it weird to look back at some of the things our parents liked and be like, like that did not fit into any category that they should have liked. Like my dad did not find like slapstick comedy funny, and he watched all of Airplane and never laughed. It might have even been Airplane 2, until the guy's trying to shave and he cuts the fuck out of his face. He laughs like a schoolgirl for some odd reason. And that's the only part that he ever thought was funny in that whole series of movies. The Camaro. Oh, you know what? That's Camaro. I'm better off. Not in it very long, but it is a character in it.
Doc Hollywood. Yeah, that was another one.
Do you know what it is?
Briscoe. I don't know if you watch Tubi much. There's a lot of
there's a lot of obscure movies on Tubi. I watch Tubi all the time.
Yep, I love Tubi.
Another amazing car.
My problem with Tubi is I end up scrolling through everything, and then I'm fucking too tired to watch something after I fucking.
Right, I know. I'm like, I see a million things that I'm like, ooh, they have this, they have this, they have this, and I never get to anything.
Another amazing vehicle, I can't even say it's a car, is in
Pee Wee Herman's bike.
Oh God. The last National Lampoon's Vacation with Christina Applegate.
Oh yeah, that blue Korean car that
I had to rewatch it. It was one of the few movies that I literally had tears coming down my eyes when everything starts and he's showing everything. I know people don't think that movie's funny. I think that movie's fucking hilarious.
I laughed my ass off at that movie. I mean, there's some really over the edge stupid parts in that movie, but I mean, like when he switches the language in the car and he starts screaming at them, I die laughing so damn bad. And then he fucking hits the button, he starts spinning around in the chair like he's
and has 2 fuel tanks.
Yeah.
And rear view mirrors for both ways.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah, like I honestly oh my God, I had tears in my eyes. I thought that was so funny. There were so many good parts, like that movie. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it played off just kind of recreating what they did, trying to go on their first vacation. You know.
Yep.
But when they go to the hot springs, they start finding the needle, like condoms in it. Yeah, that Mercedes is just there for. I mean, I think the Mustang that he gets is he doesn't get a Mustang. What does he get? The one where they put the stop sign through the window.
Oh, yeah.
She drops him off. Your fan club, they are devoted.
Speaking of vacation, the guy that's my mentor at my new job is.
Yeah, you were saying looks like him, huh?
He looks like fucking Ed Helms, and I keep waiting for him to do shit like from The Office. And then the other day, I was working with him, and he's like, "That's awkward," and it was just like fucking watching Andrew on The fucking Office. It was so fucking crazy.
So my boss and I, for some odd reason, when The Office first came out, we were like all on board before it got popular. I don't know why. So the whole when they do the whole, alliance thing, I still think that one of the best parts of that movie, that TV show, is when they throw his phone in the ceiling and it keeps ringing.
Oh yeah.
And he loses it and punches a hole in the wall.
Yep.
And he's like, "I think we broke him."
Some of the shit though that Jim did to him, like the one time when he put the fucking stapler in the Jello, I was fucking dying. I mean,
that was on Dwight.
Yeah, on Dwight. Yeah. That's what we put.
They
put Dwight's. Oh no, it was Andrew's phone that they threw into the ceiling.
Yes,
wasn't
because he punches the wall.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think that was the season finale. So then when they come back, it's been 3 months, and he's like, "Well, after that, I had to take, go to anger management classes." But when he puts his hand, I just remember watching it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
When you remember when Toby came back, and Michael's like, "No, please, God, no." My son had that for his ringtone for forever, and every time I just call him just to hear it because it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my God, Toby's the worst.
Yeah, like Allison talked about when they dropped the whole pot of chili. That's fucking hilarious.
Yes, and you know what? If you ever listen to any of the, because he did a podcast going over all the episodes or talking to everyone. So many things that you learn, and they talked about that, and they're like, that had to be done in one take because you were going to stain the carpet. That was one take, and he's like, "Yeah, I was very. There was so much pressure on me because you can't screw it up."
Yeah,
and it was done so amazingly. Or with the basketball episode, and
The other one I die on is when they're doing the fucking parkour, and I think it's Michael or Andrew jumps off the building and lands in that fucking refrigerator box and just falls right through it.
Office Olympics.
Yeah.
The Office Olympics were absolutely amazing. And I have to say, like that whole series, even when Michael left, I was so glad that they did not try and make Andy him. Like he was a different character. They didn't try and bring make him be Michael.
They were. I think they did. I mean, it wasn't as funny after he left, but
no, because he was so. But you still had the whole dynamic of Jim and Dwight.
Then I think they ended it right though by not trying to replace him, because had they lingered it any longer with replacing him like permanently, like Will Ferrell or one of the other guys, it wouldn't have worked. Oh,
I agree. Because I mean, they made it 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I'm glad they brought him back.
Yeah. They definitely ended that show perfectly with the wedding and Michael coming back, and
I thought the way that it ended was awesome.
Yeah.
Where they finally become friends with Dwight. And they're like, listen, we're going to leave. He's like, no, you're fired. And they're like, he's like, hey, listen, I can give you this much severance package. Or do you remember the GPS episode where he follows the GPS right into the fucking lake?
Yeah.
Or the pond just to prove a point.
One of my favorite episodes is when Michael is with the fucking chick that's his boss, and they're living together. Janet, and she quit her job, and she's making fucking candles, and she keeps putting on that fucking song that was sung by that fucking guy, and then they fucking get that huge fight at the dinner table, and they're all like, "Oh shit, we gotta go."
So remember when he shows the flat screen TV that he mounted in a super small.
It's like a 20-inch TV.
They talk about that in the in the podcast, and they're like, we lost it. Like that was all improvised. We lost it when he pulls it out. Pulls out like 2 inches. Like holy shit. Or when you remember when Dwight and Jim go cold calling, and he says Dwight has to sit in the back, right behind the passage, or right behind the drivers.
Yeah.
He says something about what it's the best place because if someone gets hit and he starts driving, he slams on the brakes, he smacks his head against it.
How about the one where Michael has to go, decides he's going to go out to the woods and survive for 24 hours or whatever the fuck he's doing? Like Dwight's hanging out in the background. And Michael doesn't even make it like 4 hours, and he's got his pants off around his head, dying, and all sorts of shit.
He burned his foot on the George Foreman grill.
Yeah, because he was trying to warm his bed up.
No, he wanted hot pancakes or like something.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Just the whole fact that every time that he would say assistant general manager, anybody, or assistant manager, assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Or when they did they let Dwight find the or pick out the new healthcare, and they all have their ailments. Oh, I love that fucking show.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best shows that's been on in recent history.
I mean, I truly do believe it's one of the best TV shows ever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the one thing they've talked about is they said the show was made to be timeless because there's very, very few times that they're actually talking on cell phones. Like they don't use cell phones. So they're like, if you sat down in this, like if you watch this TV show now, it's perfectly fine because they're cold calling, just like Cheers. You watch Cheers, it's people sitting at a bar, right? It's going to last forever.
Yep.
Because it's just a bunch of guys, guys and girls sitting in a bar, talking about shit.
Yeah. Speaking of this episode, and everybody always thought Creed was like a murderer and stuff. And then at the end, they make it out to be that Toby is actually the murderer from the town. What the fuck's the town called?
Scranton?
Remember they had the
No, there was the Strangler.
Yeah, the Strangler.
I remember.
Stratton Strangler.
Was it Scranton?
Yeah, Scranton Strangler.
Yeah.
And
Toby was on the jury for it.
Yeah, but they have like there was a guy who went through and did all his stuff, and the producer of the show basically like kind of confirmed that was possibility because like every time the strangulations were going on is like when Toby would leave for the West Coast or whatever, like right after it all happened and stuff. It was pretty bizarre. It's on YouTube. You'll have to watch it sometime.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Or do you remember when Pam did the artwork of the Flasher?
Oh yeah,
it was Dwight with the mustache, and they put the mustache in the bathroom mirror. So when he finally goes in there, he looks up.
One of my favorite things is when Michael runs over Meredith, and he goes into the building, and he's like, I had to take Meredith to the hospital. She got hit by a car, but he doesn't tell anybody it was him until they're at the hospital. Meredith's like, you stupid ass, it was you.
Holy shit, man. Oh, I did. Now I want to watch that show. Like, honestly, that's like one of my favorite shows. Like that. I think.
Yeah, I was watching it a couple of times when like I had Paramount, but I don't have Paramount anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
The other show that I love is an older show, and I tell women, I go, if you want to know how a man really thinks, watch Coach. You don't have to be a football fan to like Coach. Watch Coach. Like, we're oblivious to things. Yeah. We're not trying to be rude about things. We're just oblivious to things. And Coach, you watch Coach,
I like
a typical guy.
Yeah.
So, and the one that I couldn't get into at the beginning was Parks and Rec, but I went and watched it later on. And once you get past that first season,
yeah,
the character development really starts. And I'm glad that someone kind of got me to go back.
Yeah, Parks and Recreation was pretty good. I love what the fuck's his name? The main guy there. The dude with the beard. What the hell's his name? Shit.
Ron,
yeah. Ron.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson. Yep, that's the guy.
Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Parks and Rec was supposed to be a spinoff of The Office. That's what it originally was supposed to be. And then they changed it after it was going on. It was so bad. Well, you know what? Andy wasn't even like a main character. And then they had to turn him into a main character because he became so popular.
Yeah. He was only supposed to be on that show for when they were in the other office.
And then when he got the job as Star-Lord, they had to explain how he got fit all of a sudden.
Yep.
And what did it?
I can't remember what the hell they talked about, but yeah.
It was something that made no sense. It was something like drinking beer or something.
Yeah, it was something really stupid, but it was quite the transformation from what Chris Pratt looked like on that show in the beginning, though.
Oh, yeah. Because he was like, he wasn't fat. He just looked unhealthy.
I think he's talking about the original Office from the UK.
So here's the whole thing. The British Office might have been good. They had 2 seasons. They did not have the development characters. They didn't have the time to develop the characters like The Office did. I mean, there's a reason why it lasted 9 seasons. I know people try and argue. And a lot of the episodes are very, very similar. The first episode is almost the exact same. But it veered off, and I think it's way better than the British one. I know like people will fight about that, but
I never watched the British version.
I watched a couple episodes. Yeah. I mean, it's British comedy. It's all right. I mean, it's not. It's not the same as the American version at all. Same concept, but it's not the same type of humor.
And they did bring him into it, so
yeah,
he came over to try and take interview for Michael's job. I do believe it was the exact same character. So
it was Martin Freeman, the guy that played the Hobbit. That's who was the boss over there.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, Frostbite said he couldn't get through the first 3 episodes of the British one. I think some of that stuff's difficult when you've watched one and then you're trying to watch the other one. Like I said, if you're watching, if you watch the British one first, it might be easier to watch our version because it's so much longer and you can get into something that's going to go on and on. So
British humor is a lot different than American humor, though.
Yes. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of stuff different between British. Oh, shit. What time is it? It's after fucking 3.
It's 3:14.
Yeah.
I was actually going to...
Kyle, what are you playing with?
Dip out.
Everything.
Yeah, it's time to get... I think we're going to cut it off.
Back together, so I'll leave a big as
putting everything back together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll see you.
All right, let's go around the room real quick. Thanos, what do you got going on?
Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., my Instagram retrospective episode number 23.
I can tell you the last one you did last Sunday, you could really start to see like your progression, right, from where you were when you started.
I feel like it's getting a lot better where it's at now. So like you're actually seeing obviously there's still room to grow because it's always a year behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's getting better. And then every day on Instagram, same old shit.
All right, Cobb.
Not whole. I got a couple videos just about the last couple days. Everything I've been playing with right here. So a couple new videos up and got some stuff coming in. Before too long, I'll probably be doing. Still gotta get to those mythics. I think I'm just gonna do like a live video with those maybe. Everybody else knows more about them. I want to kind of have somebody in like live tell me about them more. While I don't know nothing about them still. But still gotta get to those. But yeah, Cobweb Collector, YouTube, Instagram, same thing. Not much.
Punk.
Monday Night Toy Ramblings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3+ hours. This week I will be discussing G.I. Joe Classified from Wave 1 till now and how much they've changed. Thursday I will have Aaron the Toy Enhancer on for Thursday with a Friend. And I will have a review up in a week or two of the Gridiron Mutton Junker that I ordered earlier today when we were still on air. Yes, I really did order it.
So I have first of all, no Hella Dope Toy Show tomorrow night. It is the Super Bowl, so they took the night off. And then Tuesday I will be on with Luke. Don't know what we're doing yet. We never know until like Tuesday morning when we make a fucking decision. But that makes it fun. So other than that, I'm on Instagram every day. Thanks everybody for coming in and hanging out. Appreciate you. We'll see you all next week.